I went for a little walk in the snow today. This is certainly not what I saw. I like to step out of my studio from time to time, a few minutes every day, of course, and just get a breath of fresh air. I live sort of in a little wooded area, right in the middle of the city. And today it was snowing, beautiful big flakes. It was that kind of a day. But even out there, I come back and I contemplate what I'm going to paint. And many times, I go back to paintings that I've worked on over the past weeks and months, even years, such as this case here. Now, autumn is long gone, and there's certainly no more leaves to kick around. They're buried in snow. But that's one of the beautiful things about being a painter. We get to make it happen. We get to bring it back to life. Extend the seasons, so to say. Let the autumn go on. Now, I know that people all over the world see these videos, as is the case when you're on YouTube. You are going to be viewed in the craziest places. And so there are some out there who have never experienced autumn. All they know is one season. And that season is probably warmth. But up in the far, far north, or Antarctica, they may only know snow. We're very fortunate in Canada to have these 4 seasons spread so evenly out across the year. And even though we would love for our autumn to last longer, it's good that it's just, well, the 2 months, ever so brief that it is. It keeps us looking forward to the next one. And for artists, it's a great opportunity to get out there, take a few beautiful photographs. You know, you don't have to have anything fancy. Just take your cell phone. Take pictures of things. Take lots of pictures, and then when you get home, just edit through them and discard the ones that are definite no-goes. I like to take 20 pictures, for example, and I might edit it down to 2. Get rid of the rest. You don't need the confusion. And your phone certainly doesn't need to use up that much data. And then you start by painting a basic outline, the blocked in colors. And this painting is on a panel, and I want to talk about that for a moment because there is some resistance out there. I regret that some collectors had a little bit of an aversion to paintings painted on wood, but some of the greatest paintings in history were painted on wooden panels. The Mona Lisa, one of the most iconic pieces. Tom Thompson, the group of 7, those guys were out there trudging through the woods, and they couldn't have taken too many canvases with them because the canvases are thick after all. 20 canvases, you would need a pack horse just to carry the canvases. Well, maybe not, but you get the point. They traveled with panels of wood, and in Tom Thompson's case, he didn't have a high budget for his trips. Oftentimes, when he would run out of his wood panels, he would break up milk cartons and then continue to paint. It's the craziest thing. Well, in this case, I'm using a masonite panel, and I've got quite a few of these. They're sealed on both sides, and the beautiful thing about them is they're smooth, and they take lots of layers of paint, and as you can see with this painting, it's building up and building up and building up. This is now the 7th layer being applied to this, well, I call it a board or a panel. The beautiful thing about layering is it takes on a third dimension. It's more than a photograph. It's almost like you're there. You can reach in with your visual reach, and you can explore around corners, and you can feel the true vibe of the forest. The leaves that are closest, and those pines that are way across on the other side of the bay. It's a beautiful thing. I think painting is one of the most beautiful gifts given to mankind. And some of us take it to levels unheard of. Well, there are painters out there, realism painters that I bow. I don't have that kind of patience in my hand. Well, it just wants to move on to the next painting. So I'm more of an impressionist, I guess you could say. Impressionism painter. I like to say that I just paint from my heart. I just do what comes naturally for me, and then I move on to the next painting. The beautiful thing about paintings and art is as long as they hang around and they haven't been sold, well, they're fair game to be worked on again. And that's the case with this one. So here we are, another layer, and that's just fine. They are like my children, and they weren't raised in a day, and they weren't certainly raised in a month or a year. I lived with them by my side for all the years of their childhood and their teenage years, and now into their adulthood. And as long as they need my help, I'll be there for them, like any good parent. And they develop over time, and they become their own selves. It's the most amazing thing to watch. Isn't that the same thing with a painting? Well, you know, if an artist is going to make a living, they gotta move them. They gotta release them, and so every now and then paintings get sold. Mine, well, thank the Lord. Every day I thank God they're all over the world. 3,000 of them over the last 15 years. And that's incredible. Because I don't think of myself as any kind of a master painter or anything. I just think of myself as a guy who just loves to paint. And it just seems to resonate with people out there across the world. And that's wonderful. And if you feel the same vibe that I do, if it moves you, how many times I've had clients in the room and staring at the paintings that they're thinking of, and they can't decide between one or the other, and I always say it comes down to this. Close your eyes and look away. Then look again. The one that you liked first is probably the right one. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. The Birch is on the Shore is available. You can message me if you want, or email me. The contact information is at the end of this video. We'll catch you next time right here on The Robert Painter from robertmcafee.com. Thanks for watching, and leave your comments. Love to read them, and I respond to as many as I possibly can. So drop your notes. Let's talk about art. And I'll thank you from the bottom of my heart for hanging out with me here today.